I feel like when, like, not to take it back too far, but were you purposely, when you had the issue, like the whole BACKONFIGG situation with Musa, and that obviously went viral and was crazy. Yeah. Was that also on purpose?
No.
Or was that just like you just like...
That was like, to be honest with you, and so the accountability I take, and I know that nobody else in that situation takes accountability, but that's okay. But the accountability I take is that I never watched anything in that podcast world, so I wasn't familiar with how they do things. I just knew, like, I didn't even know MacWap was going to be there. Like, I thought I was doing a podcast with AD and T-Rail. So I hit AD in his DMs, and he was like, bet, let's do it Monday. And then I text AD, he didn't answer, so I just hit up T-Rail. I didn't really know T-Rail like that, but I assumed that they were doing it together. So I hit up T-Rail, and T-Rail was like, bet, yeah, like, you good for Monday, come Monday. Not knowing that there's two different...
AD has his thing, and
Exactly. So when MacWap walked in the room, I just thought he was pulling up to kick it. And then when he sat down, I'm like, oh, shit, like, AD's not going to be here.
What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. And then I was drinking Herradura, and then, like, and so for me... It wasn't on purpose, but I thought that it was a safe space because T-Rail's Q's best friend, MacWap is Q's DJ. I'm thinking we in a TDE space and we're never gonna like, the last place we're gonna get into this type of situation is a TDE podcast. Like, if anything, we're gonna be protected. You get what I'm saying? Like, so usually when I do interviews or sit downs and whatnot, I'm very aware of what's going on. And so that's the accountability I take. I just wasn't aware. And they started off the pod with like, why you dropping out of nowhere? You ain't had no promotion. And so I already been drinking. And so it kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it just spiraled or whatever. And yeah, I didn't have my antennas up. You know what I mean? I didn't read the room, you know what I mean, good enough. And then it spiraled. But it was a tough situation to get through. But I tell people all the time that was the biggest blessing because I don't think I would have gotten out of my contract without that going so
specific.
Public. You know what I mean?
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was insane.
Once they had Musa on, I was like, oh, wait,
Yeah. Nah, it went left.
And
quick.
That's the thing is,
and mind you, I'm intoxicated the entire show. Right. So you gotta like put yourself in my shoes, but I've taken like 8, like I could drink, but I've taken like 8 shots at this time. You get what I'm saying? So when it all goes left, like only thing I knew how to handle it the best way is to just kind of like shut up. You know what I mean? Like, as much as I could. You know, I went back and forth with him a little bit, but I didn't want to crash out because the way I would have crashed out off of liquor would have been like way worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, it's interesting because that I guess like with the streaming dynamic, it's all live.
Yeah, so you can't even fix it. You get it ain't even like you can
like, yo, hey man, let's not
like, let's just skip to 40 minutes. That 40 minutes. Let's just it was live, and so I'm there. I'm seeing the chat go like it was a lot. You know what I mean? It was going crazy. But it wasn't as like, to be honest with you, the part that moment didn't like, I didn't even leave the place like super mad or nothing like that. The part that bothered me the most was just like afterwards, like you just kind of like what we were talking about the relationship, like you're in a label that you feel like is family, and then when something like that happens and you don't see the family dynamic of it and you see yourself just kind of get put on an island, I'm like, oh, this is just business. So at that point, I'm just like, I bet, then I don't necessarily need to.
It's like basketball. It's like when you get traded, you're like,
bro, that's the exact way that, and you just like, oh, damn, like y'all like the nigga better than me that traded for me. You know what I mean?
Like when Luka got traded, you're like, what?
Like AD, like damn, like I've been grabbing boards every night, like you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like that, you know what I mean? And so to get put on the island and it not be, I'm used to family being like, you know, if 2 people in the family fight, we keep it in the house. But like y'all just, even if y'all got to catch a fade, y'all just fade it out and then we good. For it to be like the way that it was, and I still got love for everybody over there. I just realized it was just an eye-opening experience. Like I'm like, oh, this is just business. And if it's business, then I gotta do what makes the most sense business.
For me, it was kind of like the most like, it was like, because TD's like the least messy label publicly.
For sure, yeah.
And to just kind of have the curtain like,
yeah,
I'm like, oh, this is not. I'm sure Top was not very happy.
Yeah, no, he definitely wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with me.
I imagine he wasn't happy with Musa either.
Nah, he wasn't. He wasn't happy with Top is very fair. You know what I mean? So he wasn't happy with either one of us. And you know, Top is very much like you said, like, keep everything in house. You know what I mean?
It's like the Patriots way almost.
Exactly. It's like, literally that. Like we didn't know Tom Brady and Bill had anything until it was over. You get what I'm saying? Like we had no idea. And that's very much how Top is. And honestly, that was what I felt the most bad for, is like, regardless of where me and Top's relationship is now, like I love Top and I appreciate everything that Top did for me. Like, this is a nigga that when I was broke would just give me money just to keep the lights on. You know what I mean? So there's almost nothing outside of like, you know, saying something about a family member of mine that Top could do for me to ever.
I think just like legacy wise at this point, like I think it's pretty much like.
He's in the rafters.
But I think just I mean, when we think about TDE now at this point, it's like, you know, me and Problem had a back and forth about a year ago, in which I was arguing that Death Row, because we were talking about Death Row.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I was on the Death Row side, but I think I'm on the TDE side now.
Yeah.
Because when we think about just like, because Death Row was like a flash in the pan, right? It was like like a 4-year period for real, like 5 years tops.
Yeah.
But like the TDE run is
it's unheard
09,
of, bro.
08, you know, when J-Rock signed with Warner to now, it's like And then, you know, if you just think about just like the biggest pop star, I mean, and then Kendrick.
They have the biggest pop star, they have the biggest rapper, and then the biggest up-and-coming artist all on the same label. It's crazy. It's crazy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think Top is, I mean, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I got him at either 1 or 2 of label execs of all time. I think
he's number 1, man.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that you could really kind of argue with
because
it.
I've never seen, I like I said, we obviously don't know anything about behind the scenes or nothing like that, but you know, for the most part, you could kind of point to any label executive and be like, they did some goofy shit.
Yeah.
You know, think about Russell Simmons. Like, ooh, don't think too much about him, because then you'd be like, damn. You know what I mean? Or even like Suge or whoever the fuck. You could go through it. Even like, you know, the dudes from QC have some, you know, the one guy. But Top, I feel like, fuck, man, like I don't know, man. And then just like the one thing about Top I appreciate is he signs Reason, he signs Sir, he signs he builds.
You don't have to have the following. Like, he's confident enough that. To me, that's what separates him, is that he has a better musical ear than people give him credit for. Like, I always tell people, everything Top ever told me to do musically worked,
right?
And everything that he told me to do that I didn't do, I ended up wishing I did it. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean like down to specific songs, taking lines out, switching beats, like switching flows. Actually, there's one song I wish I didn't listen to him, but that's like minor. But yeah, everything, like his musical ear is like crazy. You know what I mean? And so that, putting the album together, like understanding when an album, you know, like what fits where, like he's super fire at that. And then, like you just said, like the confidence to be like, as long as the artist is dope.
Yeah, that's not a thing anymore.
Nobody's
like building actual.
Nobody's bold enough to do it that way.
Artist development is still happening over there.
Yeah, so nobody's bold enough to do it that way, and I think that's what like completely separates.
I feel like a lot of people don't understand like the like long trip to SZA's Control was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like SZA's Control came out in 2017, but like there was this huge like thing about her not dropping music and. Look now, you know, she did the Super Bowl,
that's a fact.
And
that's a
you know
fact.
they're doing stadiums. And it's crazy.